Well, of Eden by FREI live on Facebook and on YouTube, with the recorded clips then making their way onto Instagram, IGTV. We are in volume 8 of the Eden Miniatures series, which is called Sedartis. The 8th one is called Sedartis. And in volume 8, the chapter that I will read for you today is called The Sedartis Effect. Sedartis is full of little insights which are borderline annoying. They are annoying because they are obvious, and it's possible only to be borderline annoyed with them because they are obviously true. They are the kind of insights that make you wonder, why has nobody pointed this out to me, say, in year 10 or 11? Since joining me, unbidden, uninvited, and taking up quasi-permanent residence by my side, he has sprung them on me at irregular intervals, which, on account of their irregularity, at least retain a mild but welcome element of surprise. The reason time passes fast as I get older, relentlessly, is very simple, he informs me. I did not ask him about this. I was just looking out of the window of yet another moving train, this time to Dorset. I imagine it is, I say, having for some time felt I had my own plausible theory about this. At the age of 1 year is 100% of your lifetime. That makes it really long. So long that you can't fathom the sheer vastness of its duration. It is all of your life so far. I'm not sure that I can fathom it now, but for different reasons. By the age of 10, that same year is now only 1/10 of your lifetime. In absolute terms, it may be as long as any other year, but you don't experience life in absolute terms. You experience life in relative terms, always. Relative entirely to you. Your year is now just 10% of your body of experience. By the age of 50, 1 year has shrunk to 1/50th of your lifetime. If somebody offered you a 50th part of a pie, you'd barely think it worth eating. But it's still a year, and it's still a slice of your life. And aged 100, your year now hardly registers at all. You may well lose track and forget how old you are. Was it 102 or 103 years ago now that you were born? Does it matter? This all makes perfect sense to me, I say to Sedartis, which it does, but why are you telling me now? Because you're obviously at that point in your life when your perception of time reaches a tipping point. Your life expectancy nowadays isn't quite, but may soon be about 100 years. So around now, as you're halfway through that more or less century of yours, your feeling of losing your grip on time will accelerate. And because you're now no longer moving away from your birth, but towards your death, you will find this more and more disconcerting. What? More disconcerting than I find it already? Of course, but think not for one moment that you'd be happier if you lived longer. I don't think so. Because if you were to get to the point, say, where you habitually had an active, conscious lifespan of 10,000 years, it would not feel that much longer than it does now. As you'd get towards the last millennium, each year would only be between 9 and 1/10,000th of your lifetime. That is about the same as 3 days for you are today. You would not experience 100 times more than you do today. You would simply stretch your living out over a period 100 times longer. And nor should that surprise you. When your life expectancy was 30 years or so, people did not generally think our lives are so short. They simply did all their living inside those 30 years. No one would argue, for example, that Alexander the Great or Mozart didn't really get that much living done in the 30-odd years of their lives. No, I say, thinking a tad wistfully of Tom Lehrer, that, I'm sure, no one could argue. It is, in a not entirely obvious way, not unlike the Doppler effect. The sound waves coming towards you are compressed so they appear to your ears higher than they do once the source of the sound has passed. Now the waves are getting stretched, and so the pitch seems to drop. Of course, time is no wave, and the comparison is clumsy at best and misleading at worst. But if nothing else, it's another example of how your reality is shaped entirely by your experience of it. You may, if you like, refer to the phenomenon of a relative experience of time as the Sedartis effect. I shan't hold it against you, if you will. That is it for today. Sorry about the false start. If you're witnessing the false start, I don't think you were, because it was so short. It was still false. But anyway, we've got that under wraps now. And I think I may have fluffed one of my, well, fluffed the lines. I'm reading this, so I can't be fluffing the lines. But I think I may have disorientated myself in my own complicated writing there for a moment. But you realize, of course, that you can read this online. You don't even have to buy the book. You can simply go online to Eden by FREI, spelled FREI.net, where you find everything that I'm reading here as text. So that's it for today. We are continuing with Sedartis at this pace, twice a week. Next time, I'll be reading a chapter called Council. Until then, I wish you a very fine weekend, and before that, a happy Friday. And I hope you're able to stay well and safe and sane. So take good care, love and let love, and see